Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Blueprints Astrology. Today we're exploring one of the most electrifying and revolutionary forces in astrology, Uranus the Awakener. Uranus is the planet that says, expect the unexpected. It's the lightning bolt that shatters comfortable patterns, the breakthrough that changes everything, the revolutionary force that liberates you from whatever has been holding you back. While Saturn builds structures, Uranus breaks them. While tradition says, this is how it's always been done, Uranus asks, but what if we tried something completely different? This planet rules innovation, rebellion, sudden change, genius insights, technology, and authentic individuality. Uranus doesn't care about fitting in or playing it safe. It wants you to be uniquely, unapologetically yourself, even if that makes others uncomfortable. In this video, we'll explore Uranus's mythology and symbolism, what Uranus represents in your birth chart, how it expresses through each zodiac sign, Uranus's aspects with other planets, the significant Uranus transit including the midlife Uranus opposition, and how to work with Uranus energy to embrace change and innovation. Whether you're a rebel at heart or someone who resists change, understanding Uranus will help you navigate the sudden shifts and awakenings that shape your life. So let's dive into the electric world of Uranus. So let's look at the mythology and symbolism of Uranus. Uranus is unique among the planets because it's named after a Greek deity rather than a Roman one. Uranus, or Uranus, was the primordial sky god, literally the sky itself. He was the father of the Titans, including Cronus, Saturn, and represented the vast infinite cosmos. The myth tells us that Uranus was a harsh father who imprisoned his children within Gaia, the earth. His son Cronus eventually rebelled, overthrowing Uranus and castrating him with a sickle. This violent rebellion freed the imprisoned children and began a new cosmic order. The myth perfectly captures Uranus's astrological themes: rebellion against oppressive authority, sudden upheaval, liberation through revolution, and the courage to break from tradition. Uranus was discovered in 1781 by William Herschel, making it the first planet discovered through a telescope rather than visible to the naked eye. The timing of this discovery is fascinating. It coincides with major revolutions including the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, humanity was breaking free from monarchies, inventing new technologies, and reimagining society itself. Uranus's discovery marked humanity's awakening to new possibilities. Physically, Uranus is unusual in every way. It rotates on its side with an axial tilt of about 98 degrees, meaning it essentially rolls around the sun rather than spinning upright like other planets. This sideways rotation perfectly symbolizes Uranus's astrological nature, doing things completely differently, operating from a unique perspective, and refusing to conform to expected patterns. Uranus takes approximately 84 years to complete one orbit through all 12 zodiac signs, spending about 7 years in each sign. These 7-year cycles often mark significant shifts in collective consciousness and personal awakening. Think about your own life in 7-year increments. You'll likely notice distinct chapters and major transitions. Uranus rules Aquarius, the sign of the humanitarian, the inventor, and the visionary. Together, Uranus and Aquarius represent the future, progress, and humanity's evolution toward greater freedom and equality. So what Uranus represents in your chart? Uranus in your birth chart reveals where you're meant to break free, where you operate differently from others, and where sudden changes and awakenings occur. Let's explore what Uranus governs. So first, Uranus represents revolution and rebellion. This planet governs the revolutionary spirit, the refusal to accept limitations, the courage to challenge authority, and the drive to overturn outdated systems. Your Uranus placement shows where you're naturally rebellious, where you question the status quo, and where you're meant to be a change maker. Second, Uranus rules sudden change, disruption, and breakthrough. This is the planet of expect the unexpected. Uranus brings lightning bolt moments that change everything in an instant. Sudden insights, unexpected opportunities, shocking revelations, or disruptive events that force evolution. Where Uranus sits in your chart is where life refuses to be predictable. Third, Uranus governs innovation, invention, and originality. This planet rules genius, brilliance, and the ability to see what others don't. Uranus is the aha moment, the breakthrough idea, the innovative solution. It's connected to technology, science, and anything cutting edge or ahead of its time. Fourth, Uranus represents freedom, independence, and individuality. Above all else, Uranus wants you to be authentic. It rules your need for personal freedom, your resistance to control or restriction, and your unique individual expression. Uranus doesn't care if you're weird. In fact, it insists upon it. Your Uranus placement shows where you must be free to be yourself. Fifth, Uranus rules the future, progress, and evolution. This planet isn't interested in the past or even the present. It's focused on what's coming next. Uranus represents humanity's evolution, progressive movements, and the march toward greater consciousness and freedom. Sixth, Uranus governs electricity, technology, and networks. Literally ruling electrical energy, Uranus is associated with computers, the internet, social media, and all forms of technological connection. It's the planet of the digital age, of instant global communication, of humanity connected through technology. And seventh, Uranus represents awakening, enlightenment, and higher consciousness. Uranus brings moments of sudden awareness where you see truth clearly, when illusions shatter, and when you wake up from comfortable delusions. These awakenings can be uncomfortable, but are always liberating. In your chart, Uranus's house placement shows the life area where you experience the most change, where you need freedom, and where you're meant to innovate. The sign Uranus occupies, which is generational since Uranus moves slowly, colors the flavor of revolution and change for your entire generation. Uranus's aspects reveal how easily or challengingly you handle change and whether your revolutionary impulses are supported or frustrated. A well-integrated Uranus gives you adaptability, innovation, independence, and the ability to be a positive change agent. A challenged Uranus might manifest as chaos, rebellion without purpose, inability to commit, or resistance to necessary change out of fear. So let's look at Uranus through the zodiac signs. Because Uranus takes 84 years to orbit the Sun, spending about 7 years in each sign, your Uranus sign is generational. Everyone born with roughly a 7-year period shares the same Uranus sign, which colors how that entire generation approaches change, innovation, and rebellion. Uranus in Aries, or the first house. The last occurrence was 1927 through 1935, and the next was 2010 to 2019. This placement brings revolutionary self-assertion and pioneering breakthroughs. This generation initiates radical change, often through bold individual action. They revolutionize concepts of independence and identity. Recent Uranus in Aries brought social media explosion, startup culture, and emphasis on personal branding and entrepreneurship. Uranus in Taurus, or the second house. This last occurred in 1935 through 1942, and the next is 2018 through 2026. This transit revolutionizes material reality, resources, and values. This is currently active, bringing disruption to banking and finance, so digital currency, cryptocurrency, food systems, environmental approaches, and how we define security. This generation will transform humanity's relationship with Earth's resources and physical reality itself. Uranus in Gemini, or the third house. This last occurred in 1942 through 1949, and the next will be 2025 through 2033. This transit brings revolutionary communication and information exchange. The last Uranus in Gemini generation saw the beginning of television, computers, and information technology. They revolutionized how humanity communicates. The upcoming cycle will likely bring even more radical shifts in communication, possibly through AI, neural interfaces, or technologies we can't yet imagine. Uranus in Cancer, or the fourth house. This last occurred in 1949 through 1956, and the next will be 2033 through 2039. This transit revolutionizes home, family, and emotional security. This generation transformed traditional family structures, gender roles within families, and concepts of nurturing. They questioned traditional domesticity and defined what home and family mean. Uranus in Leo, or the fifth house. This last occurred in 1955 through 1962. And the next will be 2039 through 2046. This transit brings creative revolution and dramatic self-expression. This is the rock and roll generation, the counterculture movement, revolutionary art and entertainment. They transformed creative expression, celebrity, and individual performance. They insisted on the right to shine authentically. Uranus in Virgo, or the sixth house. This last occurred in 1962 through 1969, and the next will be 2046 through 2053. This transit revolutionizes health, work, and daily systems. This generation brought alternative medicine, environmental consciousness, and questioning of traditional work structures. They innovated practical solutions and transformed how we think about health, service, and daily life organization. Uranus in Libra, or the seventh house. This last occurred in 1968 through 1975, and the next will be 2053 through 2060. This transit transforms relationships, justice, and partnership. This generation revolutionized marriage, relationships, and concepts of equality. They questioned traditional partnership models, fought for civil rights and equality, and transformed social justice movements. They insisted relationships must be based on freedom and equality. Uranus in Scorpio, or the eighth house. This last occurred in 1975 through 1981, and the next will be 2060 through 2067. This transit brings transformation of power, sexuality, and taboos. This generation revolutionized discussions of sexuality, psychology, and power dynamics. They're comfortable with intensity and transformation, bringing hidden things to light. They question power structures and aren't afraid of depth. Uranus in Sagittarius, or the ninth house. This last occurred in 1981 through 1988, and the next will be 2067 through 2074. This transit revolutionizes belief systems, education, and global consciousness. This generation questions traditional religion and education, embraces multiculturalism, and innovates philosophical frameworks. The internet explosion during this period connected global consciousness like never before. Uranus in Capricorn, or the 10th house. This last occurred in 1988 through 1996, and the next will be 2074 through 2081. This transit transforms authority, government, and structures. This generation revolutionizes traditional institutions, questions corporate and governmental authority, and rebuilds social structures. They've witnessed massive institutional changes and won't accept because that's how it's always been as valid reasoning. Uranus in Aquarius, or the 11th house. This last occurred in 1912 through 1920 and 1996 through 2003. The next occurrence will be 2080 through 2087. This is Uranus at home, operating powerfully. The last complete cycle brought revolutionary social changes, women's suffrage, and radical humanitarianism. The most recent period brought the digital revolution, social media, and massive technological advancement. This generation is naturally progressive, humanitarian, and tech-savvy. Uranus in Pisces, or the 12th house. This last occurred in 1919 through 1927 and 2003 through 2011. The next will be 2087 through 2094. This transit revolutionizes spirituality, compassion, and collective consciousness. This generation transforms how we approach spirituality, dissolves boundaries, and innovates artistic and mystical expression. Recent Uranus in Pisces brought streaming services, dissolving media boundaries, and increased awareness of interconnectedness. Remember, your personal experience of Uranus is more specifically shown by its house placement and aspects in your individual chart. Now let's look at Uranus aspects and relationships. Uranus's aspects to personal planets in your chart determine how comfortably or uncomfortably you handle change, freedom, and your own uniqueness. Uranus Sun aspects connect your core identity with revolutionary energy. Harmonious aspects create natural originality, independence, and leadership in innovation. These people are ahead of their time and comfortable being different. Challenging aspects can create identity instability, rebellion without purpose, or difficulty committing to any one path. The conjunction creates magnetic, electric individuals who are catalysts for change wherever they go. Uranus Moon aspects link emotions with sudden change and need for freedom. Harmonious aspects create emotional independence and ability to quickly shift emotional states. Challenging aspects can manifest as emotional unpredictability, difficulty with emotional intimacy, or feeling emotionally unsettled. The mother relationship may have been unusual or unstable. These individuals need emotional freedom and space. Uranus-Mercury aspects electrify the mind. Harmonious aspects create brilliant, quick thinking, innovative ideas, and ability to grasp complex concepts instantly. Challenging aspects can bring scattered thinking, nervous tension, or communication that shocks others. These people think differently and may struggle in traditional educational settings, but excel in innovative fields. Uranus-Venus aspects revolutionize love, values, and relationships. Harmonious aspects create unique aesthetic sense and ability to love freely. Challenging aspects can manifest as commitment fear, sudden relationship changes, or unusual attractions. These individuals need freedom in relationships and are attracted to unique, unconventional partners. Traditional romance feels suffocating. Uranus-Mars aspects combine action with innovation and disruption. Harmonious aspects create innovative action, quick reflexes, and pioneering energy. Challenging aspects can bring accidents, impulsive disruption, or explosive anger. These individuals need freedom to act and resist any control of their will. They're activists, pioneers, and change makers. Uranus-Jupiter aspects amplify both planets' revolutionary and expansive qualities. Harmonious aspects create visionary thinking, progressive philosophy, and lucky breakthroughs. Challenging aspects can bring overconfidence in risky ventures or constant restlessness. These people think big, challenge beliefs, and expand consciousness. Uranus-Saturn aspects create dynamic tension between structure and change, tradition and innovation. This is one of the most challenging aspects combinations. Harmonious aspects can innovate within systems and create lasting change. Challenging aspects create constant tension between security needs and freedom urges. Life alternates between restriction and rebellion, building and breaking. The lesson is integrating both energies, building flexible structures. Uranus-Neptune aspects are generational, affecting everyone born over several years. They blend innovation with spirituality, revolution with transcendence. This combination can manifest as spiritual awakening through sudden insight or confusion between reality and ideal. It dissolves boundaries while simultaneously awakening consciousness. Uranus-Pluto aspects are also generational and extremely powerful. They combine revolution with transformation, change with power. Generations with strong Uranus-Pluto aspects witness and create massive societal transformation. These are the change makers, revolutionaries, and transformers of civilization itself. Let's look at Uranus transits and cycles. Understanding Uranus transits helps you navigate the sudden changes and awakenings this planet brings. Uranus opposition occurs around age 40 to 42, when transiting Uranus opposes your natal Uranus. This is the famous midlife crisis transit, though it's better understood as midlife awakening. You've lived half of Uranus's 84-year cycle. This transit asks, are you living authentically? Have you become too comfortable or conventional? Are you suppressing your true self? Uranus opposition brings urgent need to liberate yourself from whatever isn't authentic. People change careers, end relationships, move locations, or radically alter their lives. This isn't crisis. It's course correction toward authenticity. Uranus return occurs around age 84, completing a full Uranus cycle. Few people experience this, but those who do often report renewed vitality, clarity, and freedom from caring what others think. It's a return to the revolutionary spirit, permission to be completely yourself. Uranus squares occur at approximately ages 21 and 63, marking quarter life and three-quarter life turning points. These are tension points demanding change and growth. Uranus retrograde occurs annually for about 5 months. During this period, revolutionary energy turns inward. External chaos may settle while internal revolutions occur. It's time to review what freedom means to you and whether you're being authentic. If you were born with Uranus retrograde in your natal chart, you have an internalized revolutionary impulse. Often these individuals are quietly radical, changing from within rather than through external rebellion. They may resist authority internally while appearing conformist externally. Their awakenings are deeply personal and private. Uranus transits to your natal planet brings sudden changes, awakenings, and freedom in whatever area that planet represents. A Uranus transit to your Venus might bring sudden relationship changes. To your Saturn might disrupt your career or structures. These transits wake you up, showing where you've been too rigid or conventional. So how do you work with Uranus energy? Uranus energy can feel chaotic and unsettling, but learning to work with it transforms disruption into liberation. So here's how. First, embrace change rather than resisting it. Uranus will bring change whether you're ready or not. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates flow. When life suddenly shifts, ask, what is this freeing me from, rather than, why is this happening to me? Change is Uranus's language of liberation. Second, cultivate flexibility and adaptability. The more rigid your expectations, the more painful Uranus transits become. Practice mental flexibility, adapt to new situations quickly, and release attachment to specific outcomes. The willow bends in the storm while the oak breaks. Third, honor your authentic individuality. Uranus insists you be yourself, even if it's weird, unconventional, or misunderstood. Stop trying to fit in or be normal. Your uniqueness is your genius. The world needs your particular brand of difference. Fourth, create space for freedom in your life. If you feel trapped, Uranus will create crisis to free you. Better to consciously create freedom in your schedule, relationships, and commitments. Build breathing room, allow space for your spontaneity and unexpected opportunities. Fifth, stay open to sudden insights and downloads. Uranus brings breakthrough moments, sudden knowing, instant clarity, brilliant ideas appearing from nowhere. Don't dismiss these lightning bolts insights. Write them down, act on them, trust them. They're often more accurate than logical analysis. Sixth, innovate and experiment. Uranus rewards those who try new approaches. Be willing to experiment, fail, and try again differently. Innovation requires breaking from convention. Ask, what hasn't been tried, rather than what's the proven method? Seventh, use technology consciously. Uranus rules technology, which can either liberate or enslave. Use tech to expand your consciousness, connect globally, and create freedom, but don't let it control you. Regular digital detoxes honor Uranus's need for authentic human connection. Eighth, join or support progressive movements. Uranus is the revolutionary working for collective liberation. Align with causes promoting freedom, equality, and progress. Your individual liberation connects to collective awakening. Ninth, expect the unexpected and plan for uncertainty. Paradoxically, you can prepare for unpredictability, build flexibility into plans, maintain emergency funds, diversify options. Security comes from adaptability, not rigid control. And finally, trust the awakening process. When Uranus shatters your comfortable illusions, trust that something more authentic is emerging. Every breakdown is a breakthrough in disguise. You're being freed from something better, even if you can't yet see what that is. Uranus is your cosmic liberator, the force that shatters comfortable cages and awakens you to your authentic truth. Yes, Uranus can be disruptive and uncomfortable. Yes, it brings change when you least expect it. But Uranus ultimately frees you from whatever is limiting your evolution. Understanding your Uranus placement reveals where you're meant to be different, where you'll experience sudden changes and awakenings, and how your generation is meant to revolutionize society. Whether your Uranus is quietly innovative or dramatically rebellious, it's showing you the path to authentic freedom. Remember, Uranus doesn't destroy for destruction's sake. It clears space for something more authentic to emerge. Every sudden change is an invitation to step into greater freedom. Every disruption is an awakening in disguise. When you work with Uranus consciously, you become a change maker, an innovator, a liberator for yourself and others. Thank you so much for watching Cosmic Blueprints Astrology. If this exploration of Uranus has sparked insight and awakening, please like this video and subscribe for more in-depth planetary guides. Comment below with your Uranus sign and house placement and share your most significant Uranus awakening moments. I'd love to hear how the Awakener has transformed your life. Until next time, keep well, beautiful souls.